I would like to announce our next speaker. The next talk that we will be hearing is from Steve Papermaster. He's the founder, chairman, and CEO of Nano. Nano is building an innovative platform to accelerate the cure of diseases, cancers, and is driving forward overall improvement of health around the world. Steve Papermaster has experience as a tech entrepreneur and a public policy expert for over 30 years. He served in the past as a senior advisor to President George W. Bush regarding the US domestic and global strategy for innovation, technology, and science. And today he's here with us to present to you the Cure Chain Manifesto. Please welcome, with a warm and big applause, Steve Papermaster. Enjoy.
Well, thank you and welcome. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and I know that it's near and dear to your hearts, all of you. Anyone who's watching, who's here in person today, and all of those who may be joining via streaming video or some form of replay, please join me in going through a journey here for the next few minutes to understand something about blockchain and something about the crypto community and the usage of cryptocurrencies that you may not always think about and is not always talked about, and it is not always the top of the list in terms of the most intricate elements of the technology, because the technology we talk about often is the actual blockchain. But why are we doing all of this? Why are we building what we're building? Why do we have the gatherings? Why do we have the outpouring of energy and time and of capital? We're doing this because everybody involved with the crypto community, with the blockchain movement, and with innovation at large wants to make things better in the world. Everybody. That is always shared by all. And what we are doing with NanoVision is really all about the human element of what is all of this technology for? Why do we work and so diligently to pull together incredible changes and innovation in the technology and in the science? So I will share with you a few primary thoughts on what I often refer to as the Cure Chain Manifesto. And that is because what we want to do with blockchain and what we want to do with all the related technology at NanoVision is to actually cure people, cure the world as much as we possibly can, as accelerated pace as we possibly can, to deal with the most problematic of cancers, of infectious diseases, of chronic conditions, and drive overall health forward at a very rapid pace. Health is, in fact, the highest priority in life. Any family member, any friend knows you're only as healthy and happy as your unhealthiest or unhappiest child or friend or parent or loved one. So it really is the common denominator of all. And as we all open our minds up, and so many brilliant minds involved with this industry, it's important to open the hearts up as well and have those come together. Healthcare overall, even with so many advancements over years, over decades, and over the centuries, is still a bit sick. It's sick from the standpoint that where we stand today is not and should not be acceptable. Not in 2018. In 2018, we shouldn't be looking back to 1918 and the worst flu epidemic in modern history with 50 million deaths, and in 2018 having tens and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people dying from the flu, as has happened this year. That shouldn't be happening. In 2018, we should not be fighting cancer as a primary mode with chemical warfare and nuclear warfare on the body as the primary standard of care. There are so many advancements, incredibly new cures and technologies, and yet the basic standard of care is chemotherapy and radiation. And in 2018, we collectively should say that's just not okay. We can do better than this. We can do much better than this. And who is we? We is everybody. It falls into the hands of all innovators, all policymakers, all entrepreneurs, all technologists, all scientists, all of the healthcare industry, doctors and nurses and the like. So it is, in fact, everybody's job and nobody's job, and that's part of the issue here. I've had the honor to play roles not only as a private entrepreneur, but in government, in helping to drive developments in vast areas of science and healthcare, and have also seen that even with the biggest resources in the world, there are limits to what has been developed. So I present to you our model with NanoVision of building a platform which is able to drive an accelerated basis to accelerate cures and cure development, open up the data and open up the model to thousands, hundreds of thousands, and perhaps millions of researchers, of healthcare professionals, of developers, if you will, to help move to a model where we share the very data and information and deep insights that it takes to advance cures to the vast range of cancers, infectious diseases, and health conditions to which we all still suffer and suffer personally and collectively from. The cure chain is really a way to take blockchain down to the most fundamental level of life, molecular data, and drive cures. The NanoCure platform from NanoVision is a platform to go right to the molecular data level, and that is DNA, it's RNA, it's biomarkers, chemical markers, it is every form of microbe and cell and the components which make up life, and create a decentralized ledger upon which we can share and jointly develop vast new ranges of cures. The same that with many other industries in financial services, in transportation and others, new technologies have come together to form remarkable new platforms to utterly change the standard of the state of the industry in a few short years. So in some ways, we can think of a model to relate to this, because I will tell you, even with as much time as I spend on this, as many years, this stuff is still complex. It's still hard to pull it all together. And I think one good way to think about this is to think about where we're headed is we want to head towards self-driving cures. Think about a model where the basic process of living and accessing all the available medical and health technology just simply develops and applies cures to each one of us as we go through life, the same way that we download updates from the App Store. On the app, there's just constant updates, and that should be happening with our medicines, with our therapeutics, and with curing and maintaining healthy life.
Transportation and healthcare are two of the most pervasive needs and industries in the world, both ripe for innovation and big change. In transportation, we see autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars, and ride-sharing. In healthcare, NanoVision is developing self-driving cures. For decades, the transportation industry saw almost no real change. Now, we are at the cusp of a revolution with the introduction of self-driving cars, a technology that just a few years ago seemed nearly impossible. This innovation exists because of the ability to collect, process, and make decisions based on massive amounts of data. Some from existing sources, and some from external and internal inputs in real time, allowing cars to grow smarter by the mile with each new data point. Leading industry innovators are coming together to fuel the creation of new technologies and platforms that enable a safer, more efficient transportation system. NanoVision is applying this self-driving model to curing our global health challenges. Like the technology behind self-driving cars, scientists, researchers, and healthcare professionals can harness vast real-time and existing global data sets to enable self-driving cures, accelerating personalized solutions for everything, from the seasonal flu to cancer. In the same way that self-driving cars will shape the future of transportation, the NanoVision Cure platform will usher in a new era of global health, ensuring a better and healthier world, today and tomorrow.
So the thing about self-driving cars and self-driving cures is that it is a combination of so many different technologies pulling together to create an outcome and a change in state. And that's where we're headed. With NanoVision, with the NanoCures platform, and hopefully with the participation of a vast range of partners. We have many already, and we'll be adding thousands and thousands more. Because just a few years ago, everybody who is here, who came to the meetings in Uber or similar in shared ride services, and in the near future in autonomous vehicles and self-driving cars, are doing something that was unthinkable, literally unthinkable, and in fact, actually almost laughable just a few years ago. We'd say this is preposterous. How is that going to happen? And it happens because of innovation. It happens by pulling together multiple different technologies into a very different form of platform, which changes the game. Changes the game. And changing the game is what we have to do in healthcare, and it's what we have to do in developing cures. Our NanoCure platform contains at its heart the focus on actual molecular data. And I explained a moment ago, and so many of you know, that is an incredibly complex area. But that is the area which biotech and pharma companies, scientists and healthcare diagnostics developers work in all the time. And somehow, miraculously, what comes out of that is cures or monitoring capabilities or diagnostic capabilities, which we all as health consumers end up using. Sometimes we can only get these in hospitals with the care of the greatest specialists in the world. Sometimes there are things we can get off the shelf. And sometimes there's things that you can do that, again, were unthinkable just a few years ago. I had the pleasure and fortune of being involved with the original blockchain, as I think about it, which was the Human Genome Project. And Human Genome Project was another unthinkable, impossible project that meant sequencing the human genome, and it only cost $6 billion in about 10 years. Now you can do this in a few minutes and under $1,000. So we've achieved a level of change that, again, is dramatic. The impact and positive opportunities out of this is incredible. And yet, just a few years ago, this was impossible, and it was literally almost impossible. But like all great initiatives, with enough focus and enough talent and resources, this was achieved. With our partners, ourselves and our partners at ARM Holdings and SoftBank, multiple educational and research institutions like Stanford University, like Baylor College of Medicine and George Washington University and others, we are in fact developing the building blocks of the platform for the NanoCures. At the heart of this is a fundamental concept that every fantastic blockchain developer here will if not love, certainly be intrigued by, and every technologist and every healthcare person and every consumer of healthcare, because what we are doing is building from the data set and the chip level up a new generation of technology, including a generation of artificial intelligence on a chip capability, which is specifically engineered to attach to molecular level data so that a generation of chips are produced to maximize pulling data in from everyday healthcare devices like stethoscopes and instruments and microscopes and stents and catheters and all the things that we seem to have around us, in us, or as part of our caretaking, but somehow we're not capturing the data of today. Same thing with a lot of the other existing research data that is in silos all over the world, in research labs and small and large companies, in biotech and pharma alike, and it is not shared in most circumstances, and the ability to drive the data sharing of molecular data, as well as the sourcing of vast amounts of real-life molecular data in real time using new technologies like the nanochip and what we refer to as the Cures Mint, which is essentially taking a token coupled with the blockchain Cure Chain format that we use and actually authenticating the data onto a chip so that the trust and source of the data is truly immutable and then shared across the blockchain, which invites citizen scientists, small and large research teams, incentivizes the sharing of data and research, and incentivizes the actual development of valuable cures, which should be one of the most fundamental changes in driving widespread, explosive growth and development of cures and treatments, driving costs down, driving a range of curative development across orphan diseases, orphan drugs, and nothing is orphaned if it afflicts you. So this is really a remarkable state change as we move through this the next few years. We have active components from the chip to the NanoCures platform that are already in use, and this is a glimpse of the future in the near term.
By using sophisticated cameras and machine learning, facial recognition technology can correctly identify a single person out of millions. But what if we take this technology and aim it at the molecular world? To do this, Nano is partnering with ARM to develop an artificial intelligence chip that, for the first time, makes molecular data addressable in real time. This revolutionary chip will be able to identify molecular structures, such as pathogens, in the same way that faces are identified today. With this technology, we will not only be able to recognize, but also to analyze and act. And using blockchain technology, the nanochips originate, authenticate, and secure real-life molecular data in real time. Even more, the proprietary nanochip and blockchain platform enables a fundamentally new marketplace of immutable, persistent, and addressable information by minting a crypto asset to assign real value to this molecular data, ultimately redefining how global health challenges, from superbugs to infectious disease and cancer, are conquered, creating a safer, healthier world.
So as I described earlier, it is a collection of technologies, and just like a few years ago, thinking about self-driving cars, ride-sharing, and many other of these dramatic changes, if sometimes you feel like you just want to say, is that possible? Can we get there? Is this too much to tackle? It's a lot to tackle. These are very hard challenges. There are no easy answers, or they would already be out there. People in your life and loved ones who we all have experience with, that we just wish and hope that somebody would handle and tackle the hardest challenges and develop completely breakthrough platforms. This is the time. And if the energy and resources, certainly from NanoVision and many other brilliant and hardworking engineers, technologists, scientists, and innovators throw themselves at, then we can change the game. And not changing the game in 2018 should not be acceptable to anybody. It certainly isn't to me. So I'm announcing here that we are taking the first steps towards an ICO in every sense of the word, including an initial cure offering. We are opening up our pre-sale. We are visiting with select groups and individuals who support this mission, who want this to succeed, and who want to be part of the journey, despite the challenges and the grand challenges that it is made of. For those who think this is worthy and valuable and have a hand to lend, expertise to lend, partnerships to bring to the table, we would love to visit with you. And no matter what, I urge everybody involved with this community to push yourselves further, stretch further, and think of ways that we can use these remarkably innovative technologies for the human element of driving ourselves towards a much healthier state where we can throw a party when we have cured the last thing that needs to be cured. And that will be a remarkable time. Thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody joining in.